911, where's your emergency?
He was burning some boxes. We just moved in and got out of control.
An intense fire.
On the way.
Damn woods are on fire now.
The flames fueled by the wind.
There's still no electricity. There's power lines across the road. There's phone lines down. There's just a lot of things. There's animals out there.
And the damage goes far beyond these scorched trees.
Just put on clothes and get in the truck.
I'm Jeannie Blaylock in Bryceville, speaking to people who are still on edge.
And I'm Anthony Austin. We're on this community's side as they rebuild and pick up the pieces.
Our team is always on your side. First Coast News at 6 begins live from Nassau County.
And I'm here at the command center where I am getting the latest information for you. Let me tell you what I know at this time. The fire is about 700 acres. It's about 65% contained. Firefighters being allowed back into their homes here in Nassau County. Also, we know that more than 100 homes, buildings were saved out here as firefighters worked through the night, and they are still working right now to continue to fight this fire to get it under control. But once again, right now this fire is about 65% contained. It's now at 700 acres. I'm told that the weather conditions out here, you've heard Tim Deegan say it himself, that it is a good time now for firefighters to continue to fight this fire. These are good conditions for them. The fire is not spreading at this time. So our team of reporters, we have team coverage for you tonight. They have been out in this community telling your stories, talking to all of you who have had to deal with this wildfire. Also here tonight, my co-anchor Jeannie Blaylock, and she picks up the rest of the story from here. Jeannie.
Well, Anthony, I heard somebody call this fire savage, and here's proof. Hard to recognize what this was. It was somebody's house. And when you go inside and walk around in the ash, you don't recognize anything. There's not a burned up couch, there's not a burned up bed, there's nothing. It's just ash. I talked to a woman today, a mom, a farmer here, and she said something I think that really summarizes the feeling I'm getting up here around Bryceville in Nassau County. She said that she feels strong on the outside. She's trying to feel strong on the outside, she said, but her hands are still shaking, and inside her body, she is still shaking to the core. So we're going to meet her in just a minute. But let's bring in Clark Foraker right now. And Clark, a lot of upset here. That's the word I've heard people say because of the gentleman of the man who's responsible for this fire, according to fire officials. Some say it was an accident. Others say, no, that was illegal and it was irresponsible.
Well, and we know from the officials that it was an accident. They've talked to this man and they've written him basically a citation, which is what happens for this kind of thing. But, you know, in rural counties like this, they spend lots of money and time. The fire departments and the agricultural commissions come to these rural areas because people burn trash. They burn things. They're out in the country, and they try to make sure that people are educated so that stuff like this doesn't happen. But we can tell tonight from that 911 call, the first 911 call, this family knew very quickly that this was going to go bad.
Please hurry.
You can hear the panic over the phone.
It's pretty close to everything. It's going on fire. He can't get the hose to reach.
Privacy rules protect the identity of the caller. We know it's someone who was with the man cited for starting the fire in Bryceville.
He was burning some boxes. We just moved in and got out of control.
Florida forestry officials say based on what was burning, in this case an authorization was required. State law does permit residents to burn yard debris, as long as the fire's 25 feet from a house or forest, or 50 feet from a paved public road.
This was an accident. The individual is very remorseful for what had happened, certainly didn't understand the risk that they were looking at. Of course, you know, it is illegal to burn it. You need to know what, you need to be aware of the law.
The woods are on fire now.
The woods,
Into the people's trailer.
The panic well warranted as the fire continued to grow.
Okay, so he was just burning debris and it spread
Yes,
to all the grass and
he
everything?
shouldn't have been doing what he was doing.
So those fire rules I mentioned apply to fires, debris piles that are 8 feet in diameter, basically an arm span. Once you get bigger than that, the fire department does require a burn permit and for you to have equipment on site that could suppress a fire if it were to get out of hand. Speaking of out of hand, there are so many places that look like this, totally incinerated. And my colleague Juliette Dreyer came in behind the lines today to tour some of the worst damage.
We are here on County Road 119 in Nassau County at one of 2 homes that were destroyed by this wildfire. I mean, you can see this damage here. This pickup truck is completely charred over here. You can see just absolute damage. And then if you look over to the foundation of the house, you can see it is now just reduced to rubble. Now, we are told that this particular home, again, it's one of 2 homes that were completely destroyed by the fire. There was a lot of ammunition inside, and that ammo started going off when the fire hit the home. So that presented a challenge for firefighters here on scene. We're also told that those firefighters, when they got here, they found the homeowner trying to put out the fire himself with a garden hose. Eventually, he did back off, and we're told that that person is okay. But we are told even though these homes were occupied at the time, the people were able to get out safely. In Nassau County, Juliette Dreyer, First Coast News.
Guys, take a look at the damage. This is our, first time really seeing, the damage as people are coming back to their homes to try to see if their homes are saved. One man's house on this same road is completely destroyed. This home, as you can see, all of the cars that were in the front yard are completely damaged, but the home is saved, and that's the story at the home next door. We talked to that woman, and she said that the fire went up to the bathroom in the home. This across the street is where that man's house was completely damaged.
I'm stunned right now. We're still in shock between everything that's gone on this past month. But God got my family out yesterday, and that's all I can be thankful for.
We talked to people as they were coming back to see their homes for the first time, and all they could say is thank you to the first responders and the men and women who fought all night to protect these people's belongings.
But there was a huge amount of fire personnel out, and they jumped on it, and I think they did a great job.
As you can see, light smoke still coming from the ground as crews are double backing to put out hot spots, but nothing like the smoke that we saw yesterday. People are continuing to come back to their homes to see what's left. Reporting from Bryceville, Stephen Dial, First Coast News.
Stephen, thank you. Let me tell you what struck me today. It was the people who did not lose their homes. Now, you might think, oh, they must be happy. Wow, what a sigh of relief. But not so at all. In this tiny community of Bryceville, it is so closely knit that people are hurting for each other. And I talked today to a mom who's also a farmer up here. She lived in San Marco and Jacksonville. She moved to Bryceville because she always dreamed of having a farm and being in the peace and the quiet. And she kept apologizing to me. She kept saying, I'm a mess. And I said, oh, don't worry. She said, oh, I'm sorry. And I said, don't apologize, because it's obvious how much you care about your neighbors.
I'm a mess.
Heartbroken for her neighbors.
These are a lot of good, hardworking people, a lot of farmers, a lot of retired people. This is a small community, and we wave at each other.
And yeah, scary for her too. They could see the flames.
Rooster Noodle, Clyde.
Susan always dreamed of a farm. Never dreamed they'd have to spray paint their cows.
They said a can of spray paint, spray the phone number on the side of them.
It's in case her animals have to be let loose, in case the wind shifts.
Yeah.
But you wanted to go that way.
That way.
Are you looking up all the time?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. But what if the man responsible right now? What would you say to him?
I would want to scream and yell and say bad things.
Because it just didn't have to happen.
Right now there's over 10 children who've lost their homes. They have no clothes except what's on their backs.
So Susan said, why not? Why didn't he just take those paperback books and donate them to a shelter or to a children's hospital or to Goodwill? Why not? Why did he have to put them on fire outside? That's what's really bothering her tonight. But all in all, nobody's been hurt, and that is fantastic. And 100 homes saved, but unfortunately, like this one behind me, it's just total destruction. So as I'm saying, Tim, people here are just hurting for each other, and they are still full of anxiety. I didn't see anybody who's like, oh, we're all clear. And they're watching those winds tonight and tomorrow. Tim, over to you back in the studio.
All right, so thank you, Jeannie. And I think to further appreciate today's weather, how things have improved compared to how it's been. Again, today, Singing in the Rain would be the best song. We don't have widespread rain, but let's go back to yesterday afternoon before the fires got out of control. Rainfall in northwestern Duval and southwestern Nassau County for the year was about 20% below average. So no doubt about it, dry. But I think the significant factor is that for several afternoons, we saw relative humidity levels down below 20%. In fact, it was down to 15% yesterday afternoon when that fire was getting out of control. But then the front came with the wind shift and the winds, yes, but the winds that then pushed the fire back to the west and to the southwest. Not only are the relative humidity levels up 70%, so at least there's moisture on the air, there's moisture trying to settle on the vegetation around the fire. The winds should stay persistent out of the east and the northeast, Anthony. So although certainly I'd love to see you in the pouring rain, at least you have moist air and at least pretty predictable winds.
All right, thank you, Tim. That is some good news. Actually, if you can look behind me right now, we have some fire trucks that are actually rolling out as they continue to fight this fire tonight. Of course, they're working in shifts. I'm here at the command center in Nassau County, right off of 301, where we are continuing to get the latest information. In about, I would probably say about 45 minutes or so, we're going to get another update, and we're going to be sure and bring you that update live. But I can tell you right now, once again, this fire about 65% contained, about 700 acres right now. These firefighters are working throughout the night to fight this fire. People are being allowed back at their homes. Let's go and take a quick break, and we'll come back with our continuing coverage, bringing you the latest information.